Matter of fact, let's just make this simple and plain. I grab this, they won't remember his name. He'll be past tense. Literally go from Ave to memory lane. First.
You forgot about the little Noane. That thing be going crazy. And since Charlie bit me, there's one finger on the bait.
Facts. Y'all might have to play this back, but when you piece it all together, those are the type of lines that created smack. So
Hello. Welcome to the Speaker Language Show, and we are back with another episode, but we have a new special guest for this season. We have Shams. Shams, how you doing?
I'm good. How y'all doing, man?
I'm doing straight. I brought you on this show because typically with videos like these, I like to have another guest on here just so I can get a different type of insight. In my first ever season of the Speaker Language Show, we did Midwest versus Midwest battles. This time I wanted to do West versus West battles. And then since you're from the West Coast, I gotta ask you, when you think of West Coast battle rap, what's the first things that come to mind?
First thing I think about is the West Coast. And that's kind of like what we ride by.
Yeah.
The West Coast is the best coast.
So
as you think about it, man, we got two of the champions of the year on this coast, and they brought back 4 belts.
Yeah,
that's off the top of my head.
Yeah.
There's 6, I believe, or 7 champion of the years that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So when people say, "Oh, the DMV or New York is the best," I just, the West Coast just sit back and just bring up all the trophies, So that's how that is.
I understand that. I mean, hey, I got my own bias too. I think the Midwest is the best region in battle rap. I think that our contributions is great, but I think that the West is great as well. Hence the reason why I'm doing a West versus West battles. Outside of the Midwest, I do think that when the West Coast go against their own brethren, they usually put on great shows. So with that, we're doing top 5 West versus West battles. I'm gonna have you start it off. What do you have at number 5?
All right. At number 5, it happened recently. Last year, I got MLang and Nitty. That's number 5.
Okay.
I included that. It might be recency bias to some people, but that battle aged like wine. So clearly, I had MLang taking the first round.
Mm-hmm.
He overwhelmed them. I feel like Nitty didn't have enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then MLang took a great approach, probably one of the best angles on him. And then the second round, I had Nitty edging it. And then I had Nitty in the third round clear. Because I feel like that third round responded to that first round. And we had a little bit of real talk Nitty instead of just punches. And he did it, he showed a well-rounded game of his. So
right.
I had 2-1 edge, not 2-1 clear.
Right.
But I had Nitty winning that battle in a classic battle. Instantly.
Gotcha.
Best battle of the weekend.
I show greatness, but you've been known. For me not to respect you as a legend, I'll be dead wrong. I can't put you on my Mount Rushmore, but I can give you a head start.
Minutes since I sipped, I put the glass down, but they gave me gin and rum back to back. Wow. Perfect night to black out. I'm back now.
At number 5 for myself, this was tough because I feel like in terms of the impact of it and in terms of what it meant and where it was placed, I feel like it had to get mentioned. You could argue quality wise, there's other battles that can be placed there, but I personally went with this battle. I got Ilmac and Thesaurus on as number 5. I feel like Ilmac and Thesaurus. I mean, hey, what is there to say? I mean, they're one of the best 2-on-2s of all times. They have solo careers are great too. But in this particular battle, I just thought it was a really great battle on one of the best, if not the best, grind time card of all time. One of the best cards of all time. Just action packed. I feel like when you talk about like staples of the West Coast, these are the first 2 guys that you mentioned.
You'll never win without me. So why is this guy from Portland battle? I mean, Scottie Pippen's always lived in Michael Jordan's shadow. Remember when you were turning yourself inside out, pulling your hair like everyone bit my style? I had to tell him he made the kid quite proud, when in reality I'm thinking, you acting like a little bitch right now.
Jay Black and a multitude of other people say Ilmac and Thesaurus are like the placeholders for the Mount Rushmore of the West Coast, and I feel like those are always strong candidates. But in terms of the individual battle, I just thought they both were great. One of the battles that, although I don't necessarily rewatch it the most out of that card, I do think is extremely important for the West Coast framework, in my opinion. So that's why I'm gonna start off with Ilmac and Thesaurus to kind of just tread the waters a little bit. Then we'll get into my heavy hitters.
Honestly, that's a great pick. To be so honest with you, because if we're going to number 4, that's my battle right there.
Oh, okay, great transition. So you got that number 4. Break it down for me.
Yeah, that's my battle right there. Everything you just said, the impact is there. It's a great back and forth, and I feel like it's one of those battles that you can't really talk about, like, you know, the West Coast without talking about those 2 names.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? And those are 2 legends that was battling in their prime.
Yeah.
And they gave us, you know, I wouldn't say just like not only a legendary performance from each, but they gave us what we needed in the long run. So I feel like another battle that aged like wine, you know, classic battle for the West Coast.
And this is also tough, right? Because I feel like there's so many great talents on the West Coast, right? So there's going to be a couple names that are for sure great people that represent the West Coast region of battle rap, but they may not necessarily have that type of caliber battle against their West Coast counterparts. But this guy is known for having these type of battles against their West Coast counterpart. At number 4, I got Rum Nitty versus Danny Myers. Some people may argue it should be higher just because of the impact of the battle, what it did for both people. I think this is a classic battle. I think this is extremely amazing. But if I'm being real, I do think that like there are other battles within their catalog that might surpass that particular battle. So that's probably why I have it at number 4. But in terms of the individual battle, I mean, they were put on one of the most action-packed cards of the weekend, and they weren't even necessarily on the main card, and they still was the talk of the weekend. There's only one other battle that did that, and that was JC versus Chilla the weekend of Summer Madness 2. So it's very hard to have the best battle of the weekend and not be on the like main card. I personally think that Danny Myers, this was his coming out party. Rum Nitty, I feel like this is kind of his coming out party too, to a degree. More Danny Myers than Rum Nitty, because I feel like Rum Nitty still needed time to like really hit that second gear. But for Danny Myers, this was an amazing look for him. These guys put on a clinic. I really love this battle. And the greatness, you can attest to the greatness because they felt the need to do a rematch of it because they came so far since then. And in a year where 2013, in my opinion, was one of my least favorite years in battle rap, I think that was one of the takeaways I could take from that year and be like, okay, this was a crown jewel of the year for sure. But that's what I have at number 4. Did you have anything to say about that battle? Did you have anything to say about that battle?
No, I was just gonna say that's a great pick, and I was gonna say the first one, perfect timing. Just like I was gonna say the second one was almost perfect timing as they, you know, kind of evolved. In different ways. Like they both had their paths, but you know, they had career performances elsewhere in different oppositions, but they also, you know, when they finally did get to battle each other the second time, it wasn't like a why did they rematch or this isn't, you know, it was actually another great battle that they put on to where, you know, I wouldn't even be mad if they battled again because they're 2 for 2, honestly, but stylistically, that's just a great matchup, and you know they gave us great rounds in both battles.
You can lay low for some months, but I'll catch up with you and shoot you. A lima bean in a time machine. I'll make you a vegetable in the future.
I beat you, spent half and let half save up for a new chopper. Shoot shots out, let that spray and knock the head halfway off a red cafe.
Let's go!
All right, number 3. I feel like it's kind of a slightly slept on battle in the culture, but I got Jay the Nightwing versus Emerson Kennedy. I got that at 3.
All right.
They got, you know, a lot of their career high moments is in that battle. And I feel like that's a classic battle, not just on the West Coast, but in the culture. So that's how I feel. I don't use that C word lightly. The people that's close to me understand that I always combat when they try and use classic immediately. But that battle is an amazing performance from both. I believe I edged Jay the Nightwing 2-1. But it was a debatable battle to this day. Like it's one of those battles where I bounce back and forth to where, you know, sometimes I have Emerson winning, sometimes I have Jay winning, sometimes I can't call it. But most of the, you know, first time, I always go by the first time I watched it, and I had Jay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Amazing battle.
I'm not gonna lie, 2019 was such an amazing year, and this battle gets lost in the mix because there's so many other great moments and great battles that happened that year. So I'm actually, even though I don't have it in my 5, I'm gonna put that as a disclaimer, I don't have it in my 5, but I appreciate you mentioning it just because this battle is so amazing. I feel like it gets lost in the mix.
Pop off his dick and stay off. Call yourself the king, you way off. Nigga, last time a king came to LA, nigga, we ain't even make the playoffs.
This shit was a test. You know, I was gonna make a rebuttal. Nigga, I spit with finesse.
With Jay the Nightwing's rebuttal or freestyle situation that he had, I spit with finesse, crazy. And this is 2 things. First thing, on Emerson Kennedy's side, the reason why I will always say Emerson Kennedy has one of the most interesting careers ever is because you could go on the verge of saying, or not on the verge, but you could go on to say he may not necessarily has the most cataloged wins, but in terms of the footage that he provide in these like West versus West or just high caliber battles, he's giving you good footage. Because this is another example of that early on. I thought he was amazing in Jay the Nightwing. I think I had him taking the first clear just because some of the flips that he had, some of the writing sequences he had. He was the first one to do like a tendonitis bar against Jay the Nightwing. That was crazy, just amazing in that battle. And then just the whole ambiance of it, you know, his attire. Like anytime he came out, you know he's gonna wear something crazy. Yeah. But his attire was crazy. Just fit the whole aesthetic of the battle. Jay the Nightwing, his not necessarily subdued, but his laid back approach that he typically takes with the intricacies that he uses and the slow pace that he uses and stuff like that was just amazing. He was great in this battle too. I kind of knew from this battle that he was going to ascend to another level. It took him some time, but I kind of knew. Love this battle, man. I'm glad you mentioned it just because I felt like this is one of the best battles of each of their catalogs for sure. Great.
Exactly. That was like, you know, the first point I had to mention. Like if I go back to, you know, to this day in 2024, you say what's Emerson's best battle, what's Jay's best battle, I'm gonna say, you know, it's the battle against each other.
But for me at number 3, I have none other than B-Dot and Emerson Kennedy. So that's what I have at number 3. And another situation where you could argue that Emerson Kennedy may not necessarily be on the winning side of these battles, but when it comes to putting up great footage, I'm gonna keep it real. I give Emerson Kennedy a lot of credit for this battle. The reason being, it's supposed to be, you know, they're rolling out the red carpet for B-Dot, you know, debut on URL. So he's pretty much supposed to be a doormat, but he not only made this a great battle, but he was competitive in this battle. Like there's some people that argue that Emerson Kennedy won this battle. Right?
Exactly.
You know, because I I personally have him taking the first clear, right? Again, beat out the second, and then I'm not gonna lie. I know people have their takes on, the third, whether it not being direct and all that. I personally, I beat out winning, but Emerson Kennedy's third is so good and serviceable to where you can make the argument that he may have taken the third too. But I think it's a great battle. I think it meant and on top of that, on Traffic, right? The hallmark, the staple for URL West Coast battle rap. In my opinion, one of the best battles on the card. Maybe a toss up between that and Geechee and Danny, or excuse me, Geechee and Av or whatever. But Traffic card on the best Traffic card in my opinion, Traffic 3. Just an amazing battle. Like I said, Emerson Kennedy's approach, his angles that he took was amazing. The original Backpack Kid is one of my favorite lines and performative bars he did.
Yeah.
The sunken place rebuttal that he had was crazy. And then beat out the E Honda bar that he had. The whole breakdown in the third round, the Barry Sanders line that he had, the plantation, comparing the plantation to league situation that he did. It was just an amazing battle.
Cause we've been building a black smack presence while he's KOTD in dance sessions, shooking and jiving for organic, showing how B-Dot shoot. Woke brother, we supposed to eat organic, not watch him eat off you, nigga. Hold on.
One of the battles I watched the most from that card in general. And again, it was this battle happened in a year where I felt like there were a lot of great battles that happened. 2017 was an amazing year. But a lot of people went in. Well, first off, it was a surprise battle, so there's that. So it was a surprise battle, so there was no real expectations. But when you seen B-Dot on stage and you saw Emerson Kennedy, you thought that B-Dot was just pretty much going to walk over him. But it ended up being one of the best battles in the West Coast collection. So that's what I have at number 3. Did you have anything else to say about that battle?
Honestly, just a amazing battle. I just want to say, like, right now you're still in my shine. That's number 2 right there for me. I'm sorry. Go
Number
ahead, 2 for me. But I mean, like I said, I always give flowers to you and Smo for everything that y'all know, to be honest, because y'all know exactly what y'all speaking on. I know I'm probably missing a few people, but y'all mainly y'all know exactly what y'all speak on just off the top of y'all head, just off the knowledge. You know what I mean? But yeah, off of that battle alone, I feel like Emerson Kennedy, he got a lot of potential classics. That makes sense. A lot of like replayable battles, a lot of rewatchable battles that you can go back if you bored, if you don't know who to watch. If battle rap have their dry states to where there's no battles dropping soon. You can watch Emerson Kennedy. Any battle from Rum Nitty, Geechee, B-Dot, Jada Knight, just anything. You know what I mean? He has a lot of those battles where you can rewatch them, and they're great battles overall. High level. When people, I feel like Emerson Kennedy is, I wouldn't say ascending, although his, he flirted with retirement, but his potential just is never ending. I feel like people should talk about him highly as they talk about other top tier battlers, because they're not as consistent as he is as far as rewatchable footage. I feel like there's a lot of people I feel like don't produce that high level consistency, but they get labeled that. And I feel like Emerson Kennedy needs to get more flowers and respect, to be honest. But B-Dot, though, on the other hand, we know how B-Dot is. He's acclaimed as a top tier, one of the best pins that we've seen ever. No matter how you want to claim it.
Thank you for that declaration, because one thing that I want to say, one regret that me and Smo said that we had when we did our rappers Pentagon segment, my first season, so 2 years ago, is that we wish that we feel like we dropped the ball in terms of mentioning B-Dot as one of the best pins in the culture. The thing about B-Dot is that B-Dot is a battler that is very angle topical based, right? But he is very, very intricate when it comes to the rhyme patterns, when it comes to the to string punches along and whatnot, and how he's able to make a major punch out of a topic and stuff like that. And I feel like we both kind of agree that we kind of may have dropped the ball in regards to like putting him in that pin echelon, because he's most definitely one of the best pins that we've seen. And with him being a more of an angle-based battler, it's very hard to do that and also like have all the similes and metaphors and punches like that. So
yeah,
that's very incredible.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
I feel like I can't name 10 pins before him.
You mean the same way y'all treated Sharon? You know, a white boy with Confederate flags waving the mag is what you condone, but got me up here in front of this Utah nigga talking all this jazz on my stock 10 times better than his, and he a system alone? Oh, you know.
He got to be somewhere in there. Like, if I name 5 or 6, he got to be within that 7 or 10 range if you don't feel like he's the top 10.
Yeah.
10. But that's just respect to everyone that pit forth to this game, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. At number 2, I have none other than B-Dot versus Danny Myers. Another mention for Danny Myers and another mention for B-Dot. And it goes without question, man. I feel like B-Dot came in battling his brethren. He came in battling Daylight. He came in battling, you know what I'm saying, Danny, you know what I'm saying? And this one in particular is what really got people's eyes on B-Dot. One of the best battles in one of the better years, I would say. I think 2016 was a good year. And I feel like this was one of the best battles in that top 3. It was between this, Rum Nitty and Av, and Disaster and Iron. Those were the 3. And some people may even throw JC and Craig Lamar in that conversation as well too. But in my humble opinion, I feel like this is easily the top 3 in terms of the best battles of that year. And one of the best battles of the decade, if I'm being honest, which will come out very soon. That's my little plug right there. But B-Dot and Danny, man, I love this battle. First off, I love battles that have substance behind it, right? You know, I'm a Black Studies major and I'm English major, so I like content on both spectrums. Content in regards to punchlines, similes, metaphors, personification, and all that, but also topic-based subject matter. And I think Danny literally said, I'm going to go out of the box to do something different. And this is one of the best rapping performances from Danny, in my opinion. And one of the best approaches I've seen him take in a very long time. I love his performance, and I love B-Dot's performance too. And I love the fact that they were both bar heavy, but also very topical.
Right.
This is one of those battles I feel like you don't even have to choose. I'm not even like I'll choose a winner just because I'm just competitive, but I just sit back and just listen to the conversation. But that's the type of battle it is for me. I sit back, listen to what this person has to say, listen to what this person has to say, how I personally feel about it. And if a battle can make you do that, then that's just a testament to how great the battle is. I think that this battle is a crown jewel for both of them. For Danny, I think it was a battle of reinvention. I feel like this is what helped him kind of ascend to being one of the best pins as opposed to just being one of the best punchers. And then for B-Dot, I feel like it really put people on notice. Like he was on everybody's radar after that. People saw him versus Strick, people saw him versus Daylight, but this battle in particular, I mean, that's why he was able to get Cortez and A-Verb so early, because they saw how great he was against Danny. I love this battle, man. I just think that you can't talk about West versus West battles without talking about B-Dot versus Danny.
Deconstruct your build-ups. I talk real stuff with 5%ers, Muslims, Christians. This is what the game be. Religion is just a bunch of different branches that lead to the same tree. But it pains me.
Cause that European religion got you niggas caught in the hype. They gave you a book of stories about men of glory and you bought this shit, right? Well, why is there no female deity supporting your Christ? You know, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. You may not hear it, but your daughters just might. Oh, nigga,
I feel like a career high performance from B-Dot.
Yeah.
To be so honest with you, I feel like I had B-Dot winning that battle quite clearly, but I had, Danny, being very, very good as well. If that makes sense. So I feel like it was a high level battle. I feel like what kind of It reminds me of, like you said, it was a conversation. It reminds me of like a Tay Rock and Two Surf battle, to where they had to talk to each other, and it came out to be a great battle. Even though like the expectations might have been up to the ceiling, I don't think people would have thought that with like B-Dot or Danny at that time. But I feel like Danny, some people would have said he should have just watched B-Dot. But B-Dot was there. You know what I mean? B-Dot ain't somebody that's just gonna back down. And I feel like B-Dot at the same time took that Geechee route. Like you said, he had to battle everybody on this side before he wanted to battle anybody else and pursue anybody else, and then become who he was and who he is.
Yeah. Now, one thing I wanted to say before we get into honorable mentions is that one thing I want to credit B-Dot, and I think this just also it symbolizes just his impact on the game and just the type of battler he is. Everybody takes a different approach against B-Dot. Everybody. Like, if you look at like the prototype of the battler and what they tend to do, and then what they end up doing against B-Dot, it's just crazy to see. Like, just look at Danny's approach against him. Look at JC's approach against him. Look at Chilla's approach against him. Look at Charlie. All these people are taking different approaches because they know they have to talk about something meaningful against B-Dot. And I just think that's amazing when you really look at like Cortez, another example. Cortez, he's known the angle, but like just the approaches he was taking against B-Dot, it's like,
right.
I don't know. Like a lot. Every time I watch a B-Dot battle, I just know I'm going to get something different. Like there's a reason why Saga was the best Saga he ever was against B-Dot, because he knew he had to do something different. He knew he had to take it up a notch. And I just think that's just a testament to how great B-Dot is, and just how much his lane and his style is needed in the culture. We're going to do a quick break to show you guys our honorable mentions, then we'll be right back. So watch this clip really quick and we'll see you soon.
Plus, I was present on the day that Jay the Nightwing's hype was finished. It was the day that he told Loso.
Oh, shit.
For 5 minutes, I was an eyewitness.
The place trying to look for his rep. Geechee went from Texas, Philly to NY. He went from the Rockets to 76ers to the Brooklyn Nets. I went worldwide, but you stayed local, knowing if you could, you would have left. I was putting in work overseas like Giannis while you was overweight on the sideline, hating on all of my Euro steps. Bitch.
You've been worldwide with it. You've been cooking over shores. But I held it down on this West. You know what it took to open doors? When I looked over my shoulder in New York, I didn't see you, because you would have been too busy looking over yours.
You ain't lit like this, then them boys not relatable. I'm talking about yellow tape, flesh, with the soul not available, seeing a mama in the corner argue over the body. That's not debatable, nigga, real life. Real life.
Now we're at number one. I feel like we have the same answer, but we're both going to explain why it's at number one. So go ahead. What do you have at number one?
Number one, I feel like kind of self-explanatory. If you want to think about the West Coast, Geechee Gotti versus Rum Nitty, the second one. Obviously, not only the stakes, but them going through the tournament. Them going through the tournament, that was everything. A lot of people kind of predicted them going through the tournament, but it wasn't as easy as people think, if you want to go back to it. So Rum Nitty had his bracket, his side. Geechee had his side of the bracket. I believe Geechee had what? Swamp.
Riggs, Swamp,
Riggs,
KCJ.
KCJ. I would say that's a little easier than the Nitty side of the bracket, in my opinion.
Nitty had two rematches.
Drugs, Cortez. What was the other one? Serious Jones?
Yep.
Serious Jones. I feel like Serious Jones was the toughest fight that some people get on my nerves by saying he got robbed. But you know what I mean? I get it. It's a close fight. But anyways, it was a great tournament that they went through. One of my favorite tournaments, to be honest. I ain't gonna lie to you. But the battle as a whole, they split $150K. At the beginning of the battle, Drake dropped down another $50,000. Smack in the middle. We got Surf. We have everybody there, and we got two brothers about to fight for some money. And it was a conversation to be had, to be so honest. From the very beginning, from Rum Nitty, I believe, doing the flip of, the Suns beat the Lakers You know, that happened a few days before, you know, setting the tone, like this is Phoenix versus LA, like this is what it is. And, you know, we had, you know, a A performance from Nitty and an A performance from Geechee, I feel like. So, amazing battle. I had gave it to Rum Nitty 2-1. The first round and the second round. The second round could be debated, but the third round is clear to Geechee. First round, I believe, is clear to Rum Nitty, in my opinion. So we got 2 clear rounds, the first and the third, but the second round is the debated round. So I believe at the end of that battle, enough, you know, more history was made. The polls was what, 4 votes or 3 votes in between, to where it's like they had to, like, you know, this is too close. And you know, they did the only thing that was right. And you know, I feel like at the beginning of the battle, we all knew what was going to happen. And they split the $150K and, you know, created one of the greatest moments in all of battle rap. Another note though, not so often do you see a tournament and the very last, you know, the championship round is the best battle of the entire tournament. That's another note that I wanted to mention. Like, I feel like it happened maybe twice. What we had, Bill Collector and Pass was very good. I feel like that was one of the best battles of their tournament. But other than that, like, you know, this lived up to the entire tournament. It carried like the entire, like, it's so memorable, to be so honest with you. It's one of the recent culture deemed classics we have. Like, if somebody say that's not a classic, they're out of their mind.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then just what a dig for both of their legacies, right? Like, I know technically, right, a lot of people would give the label of UM3 champion to Geechee because technically the judge picked him as the winner, but this means just as much to Geechee as it does to Nitty. Like, I feel like they meant a lot for both of their legacies. And I think we already knew from 2018 to that time period that the West Coast was kind of like had the battle rap game in their hands. Like, we knew that, but that was like that was like the bow or the cherry on top, if you will, with them doing, like, if you didn't know by then you knew then with Drake handing them the money that West Coast was running battle rap. Like, you just knew that.
Exactly.
And I just think that, like, that battle being there live and then even watching it back and then just what it meant for the culture in general, where battle rap has ascended to have that big of an icon be there, give that money, and also just all the eyes that were brought to that battle. Just incredible, man. Just incredible. There's NFL players that reference the splitting of the money. That's just crazy to me. Like, it's just crazy how,
I remember that. What was it? Michael Parsons and it was somebody else. It was Michael Parsons and someone else at that event. That was crazy. It
transcended battle rap. Like, I don't know whether, and then the quality of the battle is good, but I in terms of the impact though, there's very few battles that you could say that like surpasses that battle in terms of just impacting and influencing the culture. And it just so happens that it's 2 of the greatest battlers to ever do it coming out of the West Coast. That created that moment, 100%.
Yes, yeah.
Niggas know what the fuck it is. We splitting that bitch.
Only thing I just want to leave off with is West Coast have, of course, a bunch of legends.
Yes.
From you know, Geechee Gotti, Rum Nitty. We got the Source, Ilmac, and you know, a bunch of people I'm probably forgetting at this moment that we mentioned in the video, but there's upcoming West Coast battlers too. And I just want to, you know, throw out and shout out Next, Hansel, you know, a few of the upcoming West Coast stars that's gonna you know, have a footprint on the game.
Even someone like real name Brandon, who won the UM4 tournament, you know what I'm saying? So
exactly,
he's done something. Saint won the Grand Prix, you know what I'm saying? Even someone like Fate, who I think is a really good talent out of the West. Jack, who's coming up as well too. A lot of great talent. Young Grizz, Mr. Biscuit, a lot of great talent. 100%.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for watching. This won't be the only time you'll see Mr. Shams here on this channel. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
But this won't be the only time you see him on this channel. But for now, thank you guys for watching this episode. This is the Speaker on Liquid Show, and we'll see you guys soon.